hopefully you can see and hear me from this distance. Never really worked with a camera like this before, not a videographer. So today I'm going to be talking about my most transformational learning experience. And for me, that occurred my junior year of high school at Choate Rosemary Hall in Wallingford, Connecticut. Good old Choate. My junior year, in the spring of my junior year, around the same time we're in now, I read a short story by Thomas Pynchon called Entropy. You may or may not have heard of it, you may or may not have read it. But my English teacher at the time, Stephen Farrell, actually a Wesleyan alum, was very kind of into giving us new sort of different topics to discuss and stories to discuss and kind of alternative, non-traditional type things. So at the end of the year, we read this story called Entropy, and it was a bizarre story, a 10-page story. I remember reading it the night before the homework was due, and I was confused as hell. It was 10 pages of kind of nonsense to me when I first read it, and it was talking about this concept. It was about a bird trapped in a cage, and there was a certain point in which if the temperature of the room he was in, the bird, became the same temperature as sort of the enclosed cage that this bird was living in, then the bird would die. And so this concept doesn't just relate to a bird in a cage. It's a concept that was coined as the heat death. Entropy is hence the title. And so I didn't really get this the first time I read it. And I'll be honest, I've actually only read it that one time, and I hardly even remember reading it. But Mr. Farrell was able to sort of articulate to our class so fluently, so perfectly about this concept, and it really stuck with me because it relates to a lot of things in our culture, I think.
2017, fuck Donald Trump.
Today, it's not just about a biological concept of entropy. I think the story is talking about a cultural sort of element, and what it means to me, at least, my understanding of it. I'll slide over here. I'm not sure if I'm on the angle. What this story means to me is when things get too kind of crazy, too kind of, I would say, too much information all coming in at the same time, too much, it sort of turns into chaos. And we know that chaos is kind of the trending force of the universe, so things tend towards chaos as more and more time elapses. Things become more hectic, more chaotic. And at a certain point, things will reach sort of a tipping point. And, sorry, I don't know if you can, a tipping point. And once that tipping point hits, the entropy, the same relation to the temperature of the room reaching the temperature of the bird's cage, the bird dies or things collapse.
So I don't want to show you my new Apple ID password, but I wrote, holding this carefully, external hard drive. That was a memory for this class. 2017, fuck Donald Trump, February 23rd through question mark, I'm not sure when I'm going to die, on a Thursday. And there's some other stuff here, some friends' numbers on the back. But I have to, at times, just keep sort of these things with me. I actually wrote a note to myself on February 23rd, Thursday, in a notebook just like this one, to reread Entropy. to reread the short story. Sorry. It's located in this Norton Anthology American Literature book. I don't think this is the correct volume, actually. To be fair, this is 1820 through 1865. And